Good evening, Cubs and Cardinals fans. We're back. 3 out of 4 ain't bad. We're here, still waiting on Ron, but it's been a while. It's been too long. I was away. I can't wait to talk about why I was away, but we're going to save that for the end of the show because it's about time that the three of us talked baseball again. Brecklyn, Elliott, welcome back, guys. I missed you.
Hey, no, welcome back. You welcome back.
No, welcome back to me being in charge.
Yes.
Welcome back to me being able to do this on the show.
Thanks.
I tell you what, I had a fun time last week with the whose division is it anyway crew. So I had a good time.
Yeah,
I'm glad to hear it. Yeah, they're pretty fun guys. At least I like to think so.
Yeah, we got to talk a little bit more about the Brewers and get a little bit more NL Central focused, which was nice because, especially those guys being in my backyard, I pay a little more attention to the Brewers than I probably should. So
I think a lot of people pay more attention to the Brewers than they probably should, but it's fine.
You know what? I tell you what, I like watching I like watching on the TV just for the announcers because they remind me a lot of Len and JD, where they're very impartial. If the Brewers screw up, they call it out. They don't sugarcoat it. If they're doing good, then yeah, they talk about it, and they also talk about the NL Central in general. So which is pretty cool.
I got to give you guys some credit. That was a fun little part of your conversation last week. Was your review of the wealth of broadcasters that exist in the NL Central?
Yeah, absolutely, and I like most of them except for Tom Brenneman. Enough already.
I tell you what I really don't like about the Brewers broadcasting, though, is how many times they say that Christian Yelich gets a home run off of the Cardinals. If they could stop that a little bit, that'd be cool.
Well,
I like that
because he's been playing them so much recently. He's hitting home runs off everybody. I saw something the other day. He's hitting I think it was 45% of his fly balls are going for home runs. That's just ridiculous.
He has what, nine home runs?
Yeah.
6 of them.
But don't worry, he's regressing. I'll fill that in for.
He's not regressing. He's going to regress.
Yeah. So is Javi Baez.
He'll be 99 and hitting dingers. It's fine.
Well, since the last time we got together, things have tightened up in the NL Central. Brewers have cooled off. The Cubs have picked it up a little bit. I mean, if you look at it, the Cubs, since that awful 1-6 start, have gone 7-3. Now, granted, they've been playing some bad teams, but they've taken care of business. They won on getaway day, Elliott, something they were very incapable of doing last year.
Yeah, that's
right. That's progress.
And you know what? When they played Texas, though, they lost 2 out of 3. And Texas is one of the worst teams in baseball, just like the Miami Marlins. But it seems it helps when you go from having the worst bullpen in baseball to hitting the middle of the road. So you go from having a 6+ ERA in your bullpen to being 4.5 and not giving up a run in 18+ innings.
No, this isn't to pat my own back too strenuously, but the bullpen improvement has seemed to track almost exactly with the rotation stepping up and providing some real quality outings. That was something Absolutely. I said before the season began is if the starting rotation can deodorize some of the stink, the bullpen becomes less of an issue.
Well, it also coincided, unfortunately, with Carl Edwards Jr. going down and bringing up some fresh arms from AAA who have looked okay in the time that they've been there and the innings that they've pitched. So
doesn't matter how thick the burger is, as long as it delivers the meat.
No, and unfortunately, he just went on the AAA IL
because he fell down a set of stairs.
Yeah, you're kidding.
Yeah, when it rains, it pours. Not only did he get hit with some racist threat on Instagram, which the MLB is investigating, but then he gets hurt and then goes on the AAA IL. So
Wow.
Unfortunate for him right now. And, I hope Edwards, gets healthy, gets back, is able to work on his delivery down there in AAA and gets back to the big club, because when he's right, the kid's fire. So
how old is he?
He's
only
only
22, I think.
Oh,
no,
so he's not that old.
24.
Well, still, okay. I wasn't sure how old he was because I live in the backyard basically of the Cubs AAA stadium, so I get to go down there and see him every once in a while. And last season when I went to go see him, if I didn't know that he was an MLB player, I would have had absolutely no idea. But
he's the string
that's
being
pretty
slayer.
fun for me.
Nope, 27.
Oh,
He doesn't
wow,
look it.
a little older. No. He does
Oh,
not.
see, that's more of like what I was guessing. But okay.
That is a
when
big
27
mug, my
says that
friend.
you're not young.
It's not
anymore.
just a big mug. It's a team of rivals mug from Sasso.
Hey, wait, who's that in the red? I don't recognize that person.
Yeah, I don't know. I got it for free. I mean, the logo, it just came with the mug. So I just slapped the team of rivals thing on the bottom. And yeah, I don't recognize the red. I recognize the landmark. I mean, obviously that's St. Louis, but
yeah, I was
who
say,
this bozo
cool.
is, I have no idea. He looks
angry.
unhappy.
Yeah.
He does look angry. You know what he looks like? He looks like he would rather be speaking into a microphone than doing whatever it is that he is doing. So we should help him out with that. For those of you watching at home, if you can help us locate this man and help put a smile on his face, please give us a call. I'll give you Elliott's number at the end of the show.
It's not a milk carton, but it's the best that we could do.
So Aaron Mullen's already weighing in, commenting that the Cardinals have 2 of the top 10 leaders in F4 right now. I agree, Aaron. Wong and DeYoung. It's DeYoung, Elliott. DeYoung.
Thank you.
DeJong.
No.
DeYoung.
I tried saying that last week and it just was not going to work. See, I need Pete to come in and just back me up. There we go.
And this
He's not afraid to yell at Elliott.
For the first 3 or 4 months of this show, kept pronouncing it Moziliak. I refuse to accept that a name that was spelled like that would be pronounced Mozeliak. But DeYoung, Elliott, you've heard it enough. You're just being stubborn.
Exactly.
The only
and I can imagine all the Cardinals fans listening getting all red-faced, mad.
I've been kind of mad about it all week. I was walking into like a class the other day and I was listening to the broadcast and I was like, it's DeYoung, Elliott, DeYoung. Well, the only MLB game that I've ever been to was a Cardinals Royals game like 2 years ago or something like that. And I was sitting next to this lady and she's overhearing some kind of conversation and she's like, you don't know who Jed Giarco is? Oh,
that's
it's
awesome.
a fun one.
So have either of you been to a game this year yet?
No.
A minor league game. I went to opening day for the Iowa Cubs.
Any games at all, Elliott?
No, not yet. And actually, I was just talking about it today, trying to find some friends with tickets.
I actually was contemplating heading out to Geneva on Sunday because I wrapped things up early enough that I actually could have gone out to Geneva and watched the Kane County Cougars play the Cardinals minor league team, whose name is completely blanking on me right now.
Is that their single A affiliate?
Yeah, it's Peoria.
Yeah,
there you go. The Peoria Chiefs.
Thank you, Chiefs. They had a weekend series this past weekend against the Cougars, and I was going to go out, but then snow.
Snow
So
in
no
April.
game.
That would have been bad. I think you would have seen my friend. I think that he's made it up to the Chiefs this year. Jacob Slesner. Everyone, keep your eye out for him. I'm telling you, he's gonna do great things.
Yeah.
But why is there snow in April?
Because it's Chicago.
We got 6 inches.
No comment.
I'm gonna leave all jokes aside on that one. It just got cold here, and that was about it. So But that was ridiculous.
We got officially just over 5 inches at O'Hare, which is O'Hare's close enough to where I live that I just take what they say happened at O'Hare. And if anybody asks how much snow I got, that's how much I got. So yeah, we got 5 inches here. I know it was more up north towards it. It only got up to 6 by you, huh, Elliott? Because I know there were
about 6 or 7. It was wet and heavy for the longest time, and then it turned kind of a little fluffy. I mean, it was enough that I had to shovel the driveway.
Why? It melted the next day.
It did, but when you wake up the next morning and it's still cold outside, it was going to be all over everything. So it just makes it easier to get it taken care of. So
Brecklyn.
Yeah.
Your team is down 2 outfielders. How you feeling? 2 young outfielders that you guys were counting on providing. Well, maybe not you, but I know the denizens of Cardinals Twitter were counting on to win at least 2 Gold Gloves.
Yeah. Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
The center field Gold Glove, and then the 4th outfielder Gold Glove that doesn't exist. But I mean, they were all set to clean up. I mean, you guys were set to win what? 6 Gold Gloves: center field, second base, shortstop, third base, first base, catcher.
Okay,
pitcher,
nobody's saying that our third base is going to be getting a Gold Glove.
Outfielder, relief pitcher, AA backup third string catcher. Did I miss any? Gold Gloves for everyone.
Okay, for everyone. Except for Yadi. He gets the platinum glove. Don't forget that one. He gets both, actually.
Yes, right. I have to say, it was fun before we went live on the show here to show Brecklyn the Hall of Fame throw that led to Tyler O'Neill going to the DL. Brecklyn, I didn't even ask for your reaction to it. It was just fun listening to 2 things. You, and Elliott cackling like a little 5-year-old every time they played it. What did you think when you saw that remarkable throw by Tyler O'Neill that missed home plate by about 40 feet?
we're gonna call it a fishing story and say no, it wasn't that big. I'm
very tempted to play it like the Zapruder film on here. Back and to the right,
just a bit outside.
Just missed it by that much. So before the show, P had to give me the context because I didn't realize that our 2 outfielders were out because, I'm the fan of the year here. College gets in the way. Everyone knows that. I'm not going to try to pretend like it doesn't. So I was already in physical pain knowing that Harrison Bader was out, and then to watch the video of how Tyler O'Neill then went out just as quickly and on such a sour note. He tried his best, and that's what I'm going to go with. He made the throw the distance. He made the distance.
Plenty of distance.
Not where it should have been.
Close only.
Even if it had been online, he still would have thrown it over Yadi's head. That's one of the worst throws I've seen in a long time.
Hey, you know what? I think 50 Cent was closer on his pitched.
Hey, you know what, Brecklyn? You can take some solace in this. At least Marcell Ozuna was closer to catching that ball off the wall than Tyler O'Neill was to his throw home.
It hurts me. I'm so stressed now. Not only are 2 outfielders gone, but they're the 2 good outfielders that we have. No, I understand that I rag on Harrison Bader all the time, but he's still the best one that we had out there.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, easily.
Maybe
Marcell
he needs to get his
Ozuna
hair
got a little
cut.
mad.
Maybe that's what happened to him. He strained his hamstring trying to manage his flow.
Yeah.
So what does the outfield now look like? So it's Fowler.
Well, they're off tonight.
Oh yeah, they're off today.
So they haven't had to deal with it yet because Bader went on yesterday, but it's retroactive to the 14th.
Okay.
My guess would be, because I don't know if they're going to throw Fowler out there or not, but they're probably going to bring up Adolis Garcia, Jag. That's going to be my guess. He got some major league time last season, and unless something happened that I don't know about, I don't see why he wouldn't be the next choice to come on up.
Actually, they brought up Lane Thomas.
Who's that? That's my reaction to that. If I was paying more attention to prospects, I would have a better idea. But like I said, I'm not going to lie. Huh.
I believe he's an infielder, unless I'm mistaken.
He's an infielder?
Yeah. Yep.
What you doing,
outfielder. My bad. Oh, well, hey, he's doing well, though. Outfielder Lane Thomas hitting .229 with no home runs and 5 runs batted in at Memphis. So that's good. That's good. Hey, at least it moves Dex back into center field for you. So that'll be good.
Yeah. I'm thriving. We're thriving.
Yeah.
I will notify y'all when I've processed this and determined what words I officially have. But until then, oh no.
Jacob weighing in saying that Lane Thomas is the GOAT.
Oh, stop this. Tell you what, we'll
literally.
trade you. Well, we can take Johnny Field off your hands. How about that? That's a outfielder prospect that I know about. Gladly take him.
You keep bringing up this Johnny Field. I don't think that word means what you think it means.
Yeah.
Is he that cute?
Yeah.
Is that why you're so obsessed with him?
No, it's that he plays good baseball.
Are you sure? He's obviously not blonde.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there's that. That is a good thing in his favor. And he is a baseball player, so they're just saying something. But no worries.
Well, speaking of roster spots, the Cubs are going to be in a predicament here pretty soon.
Are.
So John Lester is at day 9 of his 15-day IL.
Oh, that's not the one I thought you were going to talk about.
And then you've got Addison Russell, who is about a week away from being eligible to come back to the big club. Right now, he's been playing in extended spring training, which he can do. And then he will probably head to AAA Iowa for a week to get tuned up before he is supposed to come back to the Cubs. Now, that's 2 spots. I mean, obviously, it's going to be one of the young relief pitchers that probably goes down.
And Mike Montgomery is close to getting back.
And then Mike Montgomery, he just made a rehab start. Or not a rehab start, but made a rehab appearance. So technically we're looking at 3 probably in the next 2 weeks. I think it's going to be tough because you're probably looking at Zagunis going down at the very least. Maybe Kyle Ryan will come out of the bullpen. I mean, we've had a couple of those guys. They both looked pretty decent. I'm not sure which one would go down. I mean, you got Tim Collins, who's actually looked pretty good out of the bullpen too, along with his hair. His hair is fantastic,
and his beard.
He's got a great beard too.
Half of his body weight is in body hair. His beard. Given the quality of that beard and that mane, you know that he is covered head to toe.
And then we've got to send one more position player down. Right. Is it Bodie? I mean,
no.
I don't think so.
Bodie's playing well to send him down.
I mean, do you leave Addison Russell down?
I think the person who's if they're going to bring Addison Russell up, I think the person who probably is most deserving of a trip to Iowa right now is playing center field.
Oh,
Albert Morrow.
I mean, he's just not hitting.
No, he can't
I don't
be.
I don't like it either.
I thought he was doing great.
No, his defense has been spectacular. He is not hitting the ball at all with any authority.
Oh. So that's news for me because from what I had heard, he'd been doing pretty good.
No, defensively,
yes. I guess most of the now that you say that, all the comments have been defensively. How's Schwarber been doing? Has he been okay?
Because Jason Hayward is lighting it up. We'll get to that later. But
yeah, we're throwing coal into the fire pit on that one because the choo-choo train is gearing up to leave the station, and Elliott and I are right up front.
That's right. We are first in line.
That's right.
My ticket has been punched.
Ready?
But I maybe, and honestly, I don't want to see Addison Russell back over at second. I love him at shortstop. I think he's been fantastic over there. The second base play has been good. Descalzo has been awesome. He is just clutch hitting when he comes up to bat. He gives a professional at bat every single time. He reminds me a lot of John Jay. I don't want to see really a whole lot of change. I think you're right, Pete. It could be Almora. I think he still has options, and I think he may be sent down to get it figured out with Ian Happ, who isn't necessarily lighting it up down there.
No, he's still striking out way too much.
Yeah.
Way.
So do you guys think him over Schwarber?
Schwarber stays up. Yeah. Schwarber, at least
so?
his on base is good. Schwarber still looks good at the plate. It'll come. And I know on top of our lineup has been slow. It's right now it's 4, 5, 6, and 7 that are pretty much taking care of the Cubs offense right now. It is definitely not the 2 and 3 spot.
Well, Rizzo is playing the way Rizzo plays.
He always starts
at the beginning of the year.
I'm not. What has me worried is KB.
Oh, really? Do you wanna tell me why? Let's talk about that. Why are you worried? Is it because he's
reaching.
And he's getting hit by baseballs per usual?
He's pressing. You can tell he's pressing too.
He's reaching.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's swinging at a lot of outside breaking balls, which is not usually him. And I've noticed a lot lately, he's getting a lot of balls on the outside being called strikes, and it's forcing him to reach out, I feel like.
Right. Well, and he's diving for it. He's not
right.
His setup just looks a little bit off.
Yeah.
And I'm certainly not a scout. I don't know enough to know exactly why that is, but his setup just looks off.
Now, I said I'm worried right now. I'm not concerned in the long term. I'm a little worried right now. And I think I believe when they say that his shoulder's fine. I think it's just he's got something off a little bit right now, and he just needs to get it figured out. And I think he will. So, Jacob, he's injured. Leave him alone. No. Yeah. Fantastic. So, I don't know.
Interesting.
We'll
yeah, the Cubs are going to have a lot of very interesting roster questions to answer in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was talking to a different Cubs fan. I was talking about them, the whole Happ and Zagunas thing. And she was mentioning, she said, yeah, I was very happy when Happ went down. But then when I saw Zagunas for his first at bat, I thought, never mind, I'll switch him again. I didn't know how you guys were still feeling about him.
Zagunas is fine. I mean, he earned his spot over spring training, and he's looked okay.
He's just not getting the opportunities, and that's not surprising because the guys that he would spell are playing well.
Right, which is unfortunate for Zagunas because I think Jason Hayward is getting more starts than he normally would because of his offensive production now, which. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he is locked in at the plate, and whatever he changed, and whatever's got him going, I will not complain at all.
He stole KB's mojo. That's it. He found KB's secret stuff.
And the scariest thing is, and I think we said this quite a bit last year, is when KB and Rizzo just get back to average. Holy smokes! Because right now we are looking at Contreras, Javi doing Javi, and Hayward hitting. I mean, that's scary.
Yeah, if they can just get everything else
right. I mean, the starting pitcher. pitching has been really good lately. I mean, you've seen Darvish incrementally getting better with every single start. Hamels has been pitching great. Lester was good up until the injury, and then you've got Hendricks is gonna be Hendricks. I mean,
and he's like Rizzo.
He's like Rizzo. He starts slow, and then he gets stronger as the year goes on.
Yeah, he seems to be struggling with his fastball this year.
And then what's really, really exciting is Quintana. Because Quintana is starting to look like the guy who pitched on the south side. And that's super exciting.
Really? I thought it was exciting that Darvish's last 3 pitches in the, seventh inning the other night went 98, 99, 99.
Oh, my God.
And he said he's going to start throwing harder earlier in the game.
And I don't know if you guys saw this. So if you guys didn't see the game the other night, Darvish's last batter, he knew he was going to be coming out, and he let it loose. And his last pitch was a 99-mile-per-hour cutter that hit the batter. He hit the batter in the thigh, and it wasn't on purpose.
He didn't hit him in the thigh.
Well, it hit him probably in the junk, and then it bounced off, and then it hit the umpire up where he has no protection. So not only did the batter go down, but the umpire goes down.
No, he also hit Wilson because it glanced off Wilson's shoulder before it hit the ump.
Right.
Oh, really? So we went bowling, is what you're telling me.
So he threw 3 balls, and he picked up the split.
So
he got a different kind of.
So I think whoever I forget the player that he hit on the Marlins. I think they posted something on Instagram, and Darvish actually commented, saying "my bad." So, Darvish is becoming one of my favorite players to listen to. Some of his after game comments, and
it was Lewis Brinson.
Lewis Brinson, that's
who it was.
So he's I like the fact that he doesn't have his translator anymore, and he's speaking for himself.
Yeah.
So
what's interesting, you in Cardinals land, Brecklyn? This has been pretty Cubs heavy because I'm back.
Yeah, we had to welcome you back by talking about your boys. Well, as I mentioned, I've kind of been in exile for the week, so it's been hard for me to keep up. I was mainly sad about Christian Yelich and the fact that we're still pitching to him. Why is that a good idea? That's never a good idea.
No, apparently the guy is. Well, here's the thing I suspect. I mean, yeah, you could credit it to the fact that he's playing in the airplane hangar, or you could credit it to the fact that he's playing with Ryan Braun. That may tell you everything you need to know. It's got nothing to do with going from one of the worst hitters parks in baseball to one of the best hitters parks in baseball. Maybe it has to do with going to the team with a known juicer on it. I don't know. That's just me.
Seriously, are you saying that Christian Yelich is juicing?
I'm not saying
the
that.
Dude weighs
I did not say that.
Soaking wet.
I did not say that. I'm just saying.
Yeah, it's very interesting because as somebody who I end up being able to follow most of the games just by at-bat notifications and sometimes radio whenever I'm walking around different places. So when I think of Christian Yelich, I just think of this like big hulking, like muscle-bound dude that, the bat looks like a toothpick as he sends the ball flying. And then I watch TV and I'm like, he looks like he ran cross country. Like, he's not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Aaron Mullins commented in and said, to be fair, he's hitting Cardinal pitching mistakes. Fastball down the middle or up in the zone. Maybe our guys should learn command.
Seriously, they need to treat him like Barry Bonds. Do not throw anything in the middle of the plate.
At least not in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Or just walk him. If the bases are loaded, walk him.
I tell you, he has found his sweet spots in Milwaukee. Boy, speaking of which, I mean, I've complained about it before that they only open the rooftop in Milwaukee when it's basically a typical San Diego Padres game. But I heard just yesterday, day before yesterday, anyway, that apparently the Marlins have announced that unless it's raining, they're going to play all their games with the roof open.
Good for them.
Oh,
so
that's good.
Well, but think about it. That bad hitting baseball park is going to get even worse in August when it's 98 degrees and 90%
humidity.
There will be no home runs hit in that stadium from mid-July through mid-August. That's going to be terrible.
See, I didn't even consider that. I just thought, ooh, outdoors, baseball. Cool, sounds good.
You know what? It didn't stop the Cubs from hitting home runs this past week, though.
That's true, but it's not. But they didn't hit nearly as many as they would have in another park. I mean, there were a couple of shots that fell well short of the.
Oh yeah. Hey, Colbert Hamels had one that landed just about 15 feet shy in center field.
Yeah, and he had 2 or 3 last night that I think in any other park would have gone. But you play to the park that you're pitching in.
Right.
If you can give it up, kind of
like at Wrigley when the wind's blowing in.
Yep, you can challenge up in the zone.
Yep.
Just throw those strikes. It's not going anywhere.
Speaking of people hitting baseballs, I'm going to try to remember good Cardinals things because I'm a good Cardinals fan. Okay. I'm just behind. And as thinking about Marcell Ozuna, he did figure out. So that was encouraging to see.
Wait, say that again, Brecklyn. You froze up for a second.
No.
Yes.
Am I officially back?
Yes, you're back. Marcell Ozuna.
Yeah, I was saying as much as I like to complain about him, these past few games, he did remember how to hit baseballs. So that was very nice.
Yes, he did.
Yes. It's almost as though he got very, very embarrassed from failing to be at Spider-Man. And then he let all that anger out and embarrassment on those poor little baseballs. And he can keep doing that as many times as he would like, so far as I'm
sure
concerned.
He figured since he couldn't catch baseballs, he might as well hit them.
So that other people can't catch them. I like that. That's fine. If he wants to climb around like a monkey on that fence, like all season long and then just keep falling, that's fine. So long as he keeps hitting home runs when it's his turn up at the plate, that's fine.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, so Aaron Mullins brings up a pretty interesting point a little bit ago that we haven't talked about, and it was actually a big deal around baseball. Tim Anderson hits a home run the other day for the White Sox, turns around at his bench, throws his bat towards the bench, and then yells at his teammates and then does his trot around. Next inning, he comes up, gets hit, has a few words with the pitcher, bench is clear. Tim Anderson gets thrown out by Joe West.
Well, that's because it's Joe West.
Right. But it's still total effing garbage that Tim Anderson gets thrown out of the game after getting hit. And from what I saw on the video, Tim Anderson didn't really do anything that begged him to get thrown out of the game.
Okay. And? It's Joe West. That's like asking Angel Hernandez to explain the strike zone.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen.
He doesn't know why Joe West knew that somebody had to get tossed.
Well, no. There was other people that got tossed because White Sox manager.
Here's what we don't know, though. We don't know what might have been said. Joe could have very well tossed him, and we'd have to see the umpire's report. What Tim Anderson might have said that might have blown things up into the brawl that ensued.
I'm not sure he said a whole lot because the pitcher came around to Tim Anderson, and Tim Anderson smiles on his face, did this to the catcher, was walking down the first, and everybody kind of jogged out or whatever, and then it escalated while he was standing over by first base.
Well, but again, They're not mic'd. Until they're mic'd, you don't know.
What do you guys think about them being mic'd?
I would love it.
Yeah, I think it'd be great. And here's another thing, and this is crazy. So this morning, Trevor Bauer on MLB Central says, you know what? If a guy pimps a home run, if you're a pitcher, strike him out the next time he comes up. Don't throw at him. Stop being like that. Look at what happened at the NFL. They made celebrations in the end zone illegal. Fans got upset. It wasn't fun. They allowed it. Yeah. Everybody has a good time. So baseball needs to do the same thing. Baseball needs to allow bat flips and celebrations. He's like, it's hard for those batters to hit a home run. And if they celebrate it and they celebrate it with their team, it's like nobody's throwing at the players in the dugout who are celebrating the home run, jumping up and down and acting like idiots. He's like, so why should we be mad at the batter who hits a home run is celebrating it? As long as that batter isn't.
But would there be the same reaction if a pitcher reacted like that after every single strikeout?
But that's what he said. He's like, if it's a big strikeout in a big moment.
But Tim Anderson's home run wasn't a big home run. It was no big deal. It was like in the first inning.
It wasn't a home run, though. That doesn't make it any less hard to hit.
What I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying. Would the reaction be the same if after every single strikeout, a pitcher went nuts and was showing up the batters?
No.
That's the thing. I don't think Tim Anderson was trying to strike out the pitcher. He was trying to get his team.
No. If you're going to do this, if you're going to do the whole hashtag let the kids play thing, Jacob, then you need to have the same standard. You can't have a different standard for hitters because they have fewer opportunities to do it. If a hitter can pimp a home run, then a pitcher can pimp a strikeout.
I have no problem with that. But pitchers aren't going to do that because they're creatures of habit.
Well, I know
that would get tiring.
So then why does that justify the pitcher or the hitters being able to show up the pitchers, but the pitchers not being able to show up the hitters?
Tim Anderson wasn't showing up the pitcher.
Nobody complains if a pitcher overreacts on a big strikeout at the end of the inning. Granted, right? But if he did it after every single strikeout, there would be all kinds of complaints about it. You got to have the same standard. It's a double standard if you're saying that a pitcher can't do it every time, but a hitter can. Because it's the same thing. It's the same achievement. Because that's what you're supposed to do, right? That's what Trevor Bauer said. If you hit a home run off me, then I'm going to strike you out the next time. So then he should be able to celebrate a strikeout.
Every
strikeout.
What you're saying,
just the way that Tim Anderson it's being argued that Tim Anderson should be able to celebrate every home run. Because there's no unwritten rule or there's no written rule being created saying that you have to meet these criteria in order to be able to pimp a home run. People are saying you should be able to pimp any home run. You should be able to pimp any strikeout then.
Okay, I'm going to make an argument similar to just, Elliott, you were tying back to the NFL earlier, how before that you couldn't celebrate a touchdown at all, and now you can, but they still have excessive celebration things. I watched a bit of the clip for the Tim Anderson thing, and that bat flip, even when I was watching it, it wasn't even like he just kind of threw it to the side and like it did the flip, whatever. That was a full-on grabbing the other end of the bat and then like not tomahawk. I don't even know how to describe, almost like using the bat as a frisbee type of thing. It was a very excessive way of doing that because I'm a fan of bat flips. I'm a fan of the point that you're bringing up is valid. I think that if you strike someone out, that's an exciting achievement. You should be able to celebrate that. I mean, let the kids play type of thing. I mean, that is exciting. I just don't want to see it to where it's crazy excessive every single time. If they celebrate a bit, cool.
But that's the argument that people are making is that every single home run should be celebrated like that. And here's my problem with it. And I know I'm old school. I go to baseball games and I watch baseball games for the baseball. I don't watch it for the bats. I couldn't care less about the way that players celebrate after a big moment.
Right.
I care about the skill and the excellence it takes to achieve that big moment. That's what I'm focused on. I couldn't
Tim
care
Anderson
less.
doesn't do it
what's
every
wrong
single
with them
time he hits a
celebrating
home
it,
run.
though?
I
No,
think it
and
was
I'm
just
not
the
saying
circumstance.
this isn't specific to Tim Anderson. What I'm saying is the people who are arguing this are arguing for 100% tolerance of every bat flip in every situation. That's the argument they're making.
Yeah, I mean,
I think if it gets far too excessive, then that's not what
Where
it
do
should
you
be.
draw
And
the
I
line,
think-
though? Where are you going to
no,
draw
that's
the line
true.
on far too excessive? Who's going to draw that line?
That's
I mean,
a
quite
fair thing. I
obviously,
think
It's
it's
going
quite
to be
obviously the
one of
Kansas City
those
Royals-
unwritten rules.
quite
Yeah.
obviously, the Kansas City Royals the other day thought that he crossed the line.
yeah.
So then we shouldn't be complaining about it. If you're not going to set a standard, if you're going to allow it to move from game to game, then you have no standard.
Hmm.
Know what I mean?
I mean,
I
it's a good
understand what
argument.
you're saying.
It's just in that circumstance, I don't think that Tim Anderson deserved to, one, get hit, and two, get thrown out of the game.
I'm not going to apologize for Joe West.
No, I know you won't. I just thought he got a raw deal.
He may have.
Mm.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But Carlos
not opposed to
Zambrano
the
is
idea.
back.
Yes, Big
No.
Z throwing no hitters in Milwaukee. I mean, at the Chicago Dogs and Roselle.
You guys are talking about Big Z all week over text messages, and I thought, who are you talking about?
Well, I think it was just today. So Carlos Zambrano has signed a contract with the Chicago Dogs in Roselle, Illinois. It's actually a really interesting story on why he's back. So he was on 670 The Score today. He stepped away from baseball quite a few years ago I think he was only 31 or something like that.
So somebody who doesn't know who he is, aka me, how would you sum up who he is? I mean, was he pretty good?
Yeah, he's a great pitcher. Very, very emotional pitcher. Hi, yeah, Jacob, hide your Gatorade jugs because he will take bats to him and mess some shit up.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. He was a part of that 2003 Cubs team. He was a part of the Bartman game. So he was a part of that team. So he was very, very early stages in his career.
Okay.
So anyways, so he had been talking to his preacher, and his preacher said, hey, maybe you should go back to baseball. And he went and saw 4 more different preachers, and they all told him the same thing. And he never said to them, hey, this guy told me this guy told me that, whatever. They all said, hey, I think you should go back to baseball. And he saw it as a sign from God that he needs to try and make a comeback to baseball. So that's what he's going to try and do. So it'll be interesting, but he says, it's all about interpretation. It could mean that maybe I just need to be a coach or something like that. But he's like, so far I'm taking it as I need to try and, be a pitcher again. So, so
little did he know that all those preachers actually were just baseball fans, and they knew it was a strategic plan.
right.
No, that's really cool,
So-
though, that if he feels that that's a calling for everything. I like hearing whenever players, it's not just a thing. I mean, especially with all this talk where it's just about the money and the contracts and things like
Yeah.
that, for a player to come back.
He's only 37, so he might have a couple more years. I mean, if he can make it back to the big leagues, I'm sure it'd be as a relief pitcher of some sort, and I'm sure he could be effective for a couple years. So, and you know what? He said that for the last few years, I haven't watched any baseball at all. And he's like,
Really?
this year, he's like, I got the MLB package and I've been watching every game, and I watch every Cubs game. And
Wasn't he pitching in Mexico last year?
I think so. I think it started last year. So now he's, that's why he signed the contract with the Chicago Dogs to try and get back into some more, regular baseball regimen to try and make it back to the big leagues some way. So, I mean, I caught the first part of his interview today with Danny Parkins on 670. So it was super interesting.
So what you're telling me is that he was watching the Cubs games at the beginning of the season, saw y'all's bullpen, and thought, I could do better than that.
Yeah, but the Cubs have no money.
Right.
So they can't sign him.
Right. Yeah, of course.
Well, he's on a mission from God. So
yeah.
The Brewers certainly aren't
some kind of contract cut.
Well, he actually said it's not about the money. He said the last few years the last year where he's been pitching in the Mexican League or whatever, he gave away his entire paycheck to charity.
Wow.
Yeah, he's like, I made a lot of money when I was in the big leagues before. He's like, I'm good for the rest of my life. He's like, it's not about the money. He said, this is about what has been spoken to me. He's like, God is telling me I need to come back to baseball. He's like, so this is what I'm going to do.
That's really cool.
What's that?
I said, all righty then.
Oh, you gotta listen to the interview today.
Yeah, I think I'm going to take a hard pass on that one. We got better things to do than listen to old hothead.
Hothead.
No, he's very...
Yeah, right.
Very calm and collected.
Sure, yeah, because he's not on a baseball field.
I was going to say.
Right.
Wait until he's throwing a pitch in anger in a game that
hide your Gatorade drugs.
That's right.
So,
anything else you guys want to throw in before we dive into this Easter weekend?
Last I heard, Adam Wainwright's been doing pretty good. That makes me very happy. I will forever hold the vintage Wainwright is current Wainwright. Everyone stop trying to put him out to pasture before he's done. But
somebody get me the rivet gun. Sorry.
No worries.
What about you, Pete? You have anything that you want to add?
About baseball, no.
About baseball? I wonder what you made
do last weekend.
Yeah.
So I was at Star Wars Celebration, and it was Elliott. You know this because I was blowing up.
Oh yeah, and I tell you what, thank you. It was amazing. The clips that you sent me were unbelievable. I was getting them before they were hitting YouTube and before they were hitting social media, and I was texting them to my Star Wars buddies that I play Galaxy of Heroes with, and they're like, dude, are you there? And I'm like, no, my buddy that I do the baseball podcast is there. He's like, keep sending stuff.
Did you tell them I'm supposed to be there?
Yeah, I did. I told them I was supposed to be there, and my unfortunate job switch at the time. And
did you get your shards, by the way?
I got 2,000 of them.
What?
Yes.
Good.
That's $20 worth of crystals that they sent me.
Wow. You're welcome. I will tell you, man.
I know. Thank you.
It was overwhelming.
Just from the text message group chat, you guys seem like a kid in a candy store.
If you were looking for anything related to Star Wars, you were going to find it there. Like that exhibition floor was insane. Everywhere you
like Lucky Gold Die?
Oh my God. It was ridiculous. You just spin around and there were 6 different booths selling Star Wars toys and artwork and signatures and cases, and they had a whole tattoo section. It was nuts. It's crazy.
Do you have a lot of pictures and stuff like that you took that you haven't posted on social media at all, or?
No, I think I sent all the pictures that I took to you. I was more just like taking it in. I didn't want to get stuck behind my camera. Like all the stuff that I sent to you, I made sure before I hit record that it was framed properly, and then I just trusted that I could hold it still because I wanted to watch the big screen. I didn't want to watch my little screen and then have missed it. I mean, that Clone Wars panel was awesome. It was awesome.
I still can't believe that one clip that you sent. It was a ride. That did not look like a ride.
Oh yeah, Galaxy or the Galaxy's Edge. It was actually the first panel that I went to, and they showed some stuff from the Rise of the Resistance ride, and then also from the Smuggler's Run ride. They both look crazy fun.
I was say watching that. I showed my boyfriend that, and he was like, "I thought that there was some kind of movie clip for something." I mean, it didn't look like a ride at all.
Yeah, the one for Rise of the Resistance.
I thought it was the first too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Rise of the Resistance one. That's actually taken from the video that'll be shown as part of the ride.
Very cool.
So my two favorite things that you sent me was one was the Mandalorian stuff, and then two was the Clone Wars for the new season. Like I am super excited about both of those.
The trailer or the Bad Batch release, the Bad Batch sequence.
Well, the Bad Batch was in the trailer, so you kind of got both of that within there.
Yeah.
But then the Mandalorian stuff with the sizzle reel, and then the behind the scenes stuff with Pedro Pascal and Taika Waititi and just all the director. I mean, I was just like,
I got to tell you, man, the
like
love,
super excited.
And I know I texted you this, but the love for Dave Filoni at that convention was palpable. You could feel it every time he made an appearance, every time people mentioned him. I mean, not even that he had to be there. If somebody gave him credit, I went to the season 2 Resistance sneak peek, and they mentioned Filoni because obviously he created it, but he wasn't there on Monday. Still, when his name was mentioned, the place went nuts. If there's any further indication for Disney that they should just turn over the creative reins for Star Wars to Dave Filoni, it was this past weekend.
Seriously,
he clearly has more credibility on Star Wars with the fan base than anybody outside of George Lucas.
He should be the Kevin Feige
of absolutely
Star Wars.
Absolutely.
I mean, Kevin Feige has. I mean, sorry, people. We've got one watcher. So if you know Kevin Feige runs pretty much, he oversees all of Marvel. So all of the stories, everything that we've seen the last 10 years leading up to Endgame, Kevin Feige has been the director of this. He has been the puppet master bringing everything here. Dave Filoni is that for pretty much the Clone Wars and Resistance, and he's just done everything he's touched in Star Wars has been amazing.
I mean, he was
some of the best Star Wars storytelling has been done by him.
And if you don't believe it, you can simply look at the example of Ahsoka, right? Because when Ahsoka was introduced, the fan base was very skeptical. And granted, it was a collaboration between him and George Lucas. But the fan base was very skeptical, and over the course of 6 years, Dave Filoni nurtured her into one of the most beloved characters in the Star Wars saga.
And one of the most exciting things is that we get to see how the Clone Wars stories ends.
Yeah.
And then hopefully we can see how the tie-in comes with.
We have no viewers, so we're just talking.
With the new story that we hopefully can see.
Yeah.
I mean, what happened at the end of Rebels and what Sabine and Ahsoka is going to be doing as they're searching for Ezra.
Yep.
So
Yeah,
Maybe.
it was interesting. He talked about that when he was talking about Clone Wars, and he said, one of the things that we always knew is that as we got closer and closer to the end of the Clone Wars story, the space really started to narrow. And our story had to start to align with George's story, right? Because nobody's changing.
Right.
And so he said, so now...
Because she wasn't there.
Right. And so now in these 12 stories that we're going to tell, we have got to wrap it all up, and it's got to adhere very closely to what George has already laid out. It was fascinating. Like, I can't do justice to that panel, which is why I'm glad I didn't take a lot of notes and send them to you, because you bastard didn't come.
No, it's okay.
But I mean, when you step back and you look at it in its entirety, this was a really exciting weekend for Star Wars fans, man. Anybody who was there, there's no way that they feel they didn't get their money's worth. They got to see the Episode 9 trailer. They got to see the trailer for the Clone Wars. They got to see a whole bunch of content related to the Clone Wars that was released. There were 3 different sequences that they showed. They released all kinds of information about Galaxy's Edge. They did
Disney Plus.
They talked about that. There was they got all kinds of content and discussion about the Mandalorian. If you're into it, you got to sit down and you got to see the first episode of season 2 of Star Wars Resistance. I mean, there was a ton of content for Star Wars fans. Yes,
Yeah.
Brecklyn.
I'm good. I'm just listening and enjoying.
No, but you put your finger up like you wanted to say something.
Disney Plus. I am a fan of that. Elliott described it to me earlier in the week, and I was like, "Yeah, all right."
It's going to be
fun.
It is going to be a bargain. $70 for a year.
Yeah.
$6.99 a month, but $70 for a year. That's going to be a huge bargain.
It's going to have all the Disney movies.
Every single Disney animation movie. They're going to start with Captain Marvel as the first Marvel movie to release on there.
Still haven't seen it.
That's okay.
They
go see Shazam.
Have all the legacy movies, Disney movies on there.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to have all the all new original content of not just Star Wars, The Mandalorian, but they're going to have Marvel movies. They've already announced the Alan Tudyk and Diego Luna, Cassian and K2SO TV show.
Speaking of Alan Tudyk, I went to his panel on the Galaxy.
He's hilarious.
He was awesome. He was so much fun. Oh, and I'm sure there hasn't been discussion, but somebody in the audience brought up a great point when the Q&A came up and said, "Hey, listen, Alan, now that Disney owns Fox, that means they own the rights to Firefly, don't they?"
Yeah. Well, his character died in the movie.
Well, that was the point he kept making. He kept going, oh, wait, too soon? He was great.
Yeah.
He was really, really good.
In Serenity.
They can always go backwards.
Right. That's true. Have you seen that, Brecklyn? Serenity?
No.
Or Firefly?
No, but I've heard of Firefly, but I haven't watched it. No, you saying that Disney owns Fox, I forgot. I went on my own tangent. Disney owns Anastasia now. She's officially a Disney princess, and people can pay attention to her now. There, you guys got to hear my little 2 bits. You can go on again.
Does that make? That means that Captain Marvel's a Disney princess now, right?
Is she a princess?
Yes.
Sure, why not?
This is why I have to speak. Okay, but they're not princesses. No. They're women, but close enough.
Right.
No, I'm excited. So every year for my birthday, that's normally when the big Marvel movie of the year comes out. So last year it was Avengers. This year it's going to be Endgame. But I have to go see Captain Marvel before I can watch the Avengers. And it's not even... I don't. It doesn't. Doesn't it tie in?
Yeah.
I mean, that's how the really ended. Was that she was going to come in and save the day?
Because
and
Captain Marvel takes place in the 90s.
Oh, so it doesn't like show. Well, okay. So if you haven't seen Avengers yet, then just skip or something. I don't care. The last one, the very end credit scene was when they teased that Captain Marvel was going to come into it, which makes me think that she's got to have some kind of role for this next one.
Oh yeah, she's going to be.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. No, I refuse to see without knowing who she is. Like, I know who she is because of the comics, but I want to see what they did with her in the cinematic universe. And from what I've heard, it's just a completely split audience. People who don't know the comics and aren't that huge into Marvel and just like watching the movies are like, yeah, it was great. It's amazing. And people who are super into it, oh, okay.
It was eh.
People who were super into it and are like, eh.
Shazam is a much better film. So much fun. Have you seen it, Elliott?
Not yet. So I saw Captain Marvel. It was good. I mean, yeah.
No.
It was a movie.
Captain Marvel was in the thick of, like you have Guardians of the Galaxy and Thor Ragnarok, right? And those are like the very best of the Marvel films. Then you
Thor Ragnarok was amazing.
And then you got everything else. Captain Marvel is in that everything else.
I still put Iron Man, like the first Iron Man.
It was very good.
That was amazing.
It wasn't as good as Guardians of the Galaxy, though. Guardians of the Galaxy was awesome.
It was really good, but I'm not sure if I would put it at the very top, but that might just be storyline differences because the movie production in itself, it was really good. Thor Ragnarok, though, I think I saw that in the theater maybe 3 times. I absolutely love it. The moment I saw it hit the shelves, I bought it.
I love that. I love the new characters that they introduced into that movie was awesome. And I love
Korg
the
is my spirit person.
Yes. I love the story behind one of the best lines in the movie where Thor comes out into the stadium and he sees Hulk and he's like, we're friends from work. So I don't know if you heard the story behind this, but it was little kid that they had on set that day was like one of those Make-A-Wish kids was like, you should say he's a friend that you know from work, and he says this during the shooting, and it's like one of the best lines in the movie.
It's amazing.
Speaking of best lines in the movie, more insight from Celebration. All of Alan Tudyk's best K2 lines from Rogue One are improvised.
Oh, I totally believe that.
Because he said they basically completely took the reins off on him because they didn't have to do any kind of matching on his shots because they knew they were gonna CGI him anyway.
Right.
And he was pretty much on set for a reference point for the other actors. And so every take was a new line for him.
Huh.
And so all his best ones, there's, a fresh one if you mouth off again. And
which is amazing.
Yeah, improv. I'll be there for you.
How about where he gives her the gun and he's like, oh, great. Yes. Give her the gun, but you don't trust me.
Improv. Yep. Like every good line that
I loved his character.
Were all improv. He's really, really good. He was fascinating. Who wasn't fascinating? Anthony Daniels. His panel was so unbelievably scripted.
Really?
It was disappointing. I was expecting more from it.
Scripted as in he practiced too much, or scripted as in it was just lame?
No, I mean it was scripted. Like Warwick Davis coming out of nowhere and hijacking the panel. It was clearly scripted. Like there was a bunch of video that he had incorporated into it. Like it was not a panel. It was the Anthony Daniels show. I mean, and if you didn't know it already, even if you did, this just reinforced it. Like he clearly has the largest ego of anybody who's involved in Star Wars. And he's gotten this ego over, not one of the main characters. He is very much in love with himself.
So, for someone who doesn't have Star Wars memorized, who's that?
C-3PO.
C-3PO.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Huge ego.
Dude, R2-D2 doesn't even talk and people like him better. You need to calm down. That's my take on that. I'll give some Star Wars hot takes just because I'm not in the community. I like Star Wars. Most of my friends are huge Star Wars nerds. I hang out.
See, you have some taste.
Well, that's good.
All right,
It's not all bad.
we've got 2 viewers back just in time for us to call it a night.
Yeah.
Welcome back. Goodbye.
They're probably just checking in to see if we started talking baseball again.
No, we haven't. That's going to be the tagline for this week's show. Come for the baseball, stay for the Star Wars.
Perfect.
Love it.
Like
When you're not live on Facebook, I'm just going to start over. When
It's
we
okay,
are
we're
not
new
live on, been a little out of practice. When we're not live on Facebook at Team of Rivals Podcast, you can find us online at teamofrivalspodcast.com. We're on Twitter at Team of Rivals Pod, and we're on Instagram at Team of Rivals Podcast. You can contact us by email at the show at teamofrivalspodcast.com. On Twitter, you can find Elliott at
TOR_Elliott.
You can find Brecklyn at
Carry on cards.
How do you spell that?
Carey.
And why is it like that?
Because it's my last name, and I'm a very punny gal.
If you're paying close attention, you can also find Ron on Twitter at TOR_Ron75. He just pops up every once in a while, makes some kind of snarky comment, and then fades away. So good luck. He's kind of like trying to find Nessie nowadays.
Yeah,
if you are
if you
listening
can
to us
see
after the
wild.
fact, why not give Radio Public a try? Radio Public's a free platform that throws a couple of pennies our way every time you listen. Otherwise, you can catch us anywhere you listen to podcasts: iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Spotify, TuneIn, and Google Podcasts. Please do like, rate, review, and share with your friends. And of course, if you would like some of your own Team of Rivals gear, don't forget to visit the team store on Zazzle. Guys, any last thoughts?
Looking forward to another good weekend of baseball. This will be a little bit more of a test for the Cubs against the above 500 Arizona Diamondbacks. So we'll see.
How about you, Brecklyn? When does your head come above water to pay attention to baseball?
That's a very good question. Anyone out there, just cross your fingers real hard. Pray, do whatever you do. Little dance. Try to help me make sure I get through this last semester of undergrad. It's a time. And if you don't want to cross your fingers for me, cross your fingers for the Cardinals outfield, because who knows what's going to happen now. Everything's off the table.
And I'll tell you what, if you're watching the Cubs game this weekend on Easter Sunday, saying that because it drives my son nuts. Dad, it's Easter. It's not Sunday. Actually, son, the whole weekend is Easter. It starts Thursday night. And it goes all the way through to Sunday.
The more you
Yep, Friday tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like you could literally see him struggling with comprehension. Anyway, keep an eye out on the bleachers. I believe that the target is the right center field bleachers. So maybe you'll catch us. It's supposed to be beautiful and sunny on Sunday.
Oh,
With that, yeah, it'll be fun. Just me and the boy enjoying a Cubs game. Nice 120 start. It should be great.
I expect pictures.
You won't get them. And with that, have a great week, everybody. Hopefully, Brecklyn will be caught up, and who knows? Maybe we'll have a special guest.